And I'm thankful to be here tonight. I'm thankful for all of you for coming in today. I know it was a great day to be out in the fields, got some sunshine, and I appreciate you taking the time to come in and not bolting right after the door prizes were given away. So I got a lot to be thankful for. And I think we as an industry have a lot to be thankful for in agriculture this year. We've been watching the corn prices slide since May. We've been watching a lot of uncertainty in our industry for the past several years. A lot of it really positive and exciting uncertainty, but a lot of it makes us hesitate. We're putting a lot of dollars on the line each year when we go out there. We're putting a lot of dollars in the ground. We're putting a lot of dollars in our tanks. The cost of doing business in agriculture is going up. The risks are rising, and since about 2005, the rewards have been rising for a lot of producers as well. Now, as we go forward, are we going to be looking at the same situation? And I don't have the answers for you. I don't. I'm not all that bright. I'm from southern Iowa, which is practically Missouri, which is practically the South. But I have the chance to work with a lot of really, really smart people. So we're going to talk tonight a little bit what I get to hear from them, a little bit that I've picked up talking to smarter people around the country. When I come and give a presentation, I like to start with a market outlook. A lot of times that's what people associate with market to market. Tell me what's going on in the short term, what to expect, when to sell my grain, when to start taking care of some feed needs. So we're going to get into that. Sorry about that. We're going to get into that. But before we do, it's a story I like to tell, and I think it sheds a little bit of light on how market forecasting works. In Iowa, and you guys have probably heard him on a radio station up around here, we've got a guy by the name of Elwyn Taylor, Dr. Elwyn Taylor. He's at Iowa State University. He's a climatologist. He's the state's best weatherman, is what Elwyn is. And when I was growing up, Elwyn Taylor was on the radio at least once a week, sometimes more. And Elwyn Taylor was a man that everybody listened to in the farm market. You waited to hear what Elwyn was going to say about climate and the weather. And he's been doing it a long time, and he is just revered when it comes to forecasting. And I used to be a banker. I'm now free of banking. I'm a recovering banker. And one of my earlier years in banking, I had the chance to go to the Ag Lenders Convention in Ames, Iowa, which is as exciting as it sounds. While I was there, we were going to have a presentation by Dr. Elwyn Taylor. And this presentation was in March of 2012. Who here remembers 2012? A couple of people. It's a year that's going to stick in our minds. It's a year we're going to tell our kids about. It was a big year. But in March of 2012, does anybody remember what we were discussing? Record planted acreage, record corn crop, record harvest. We were going to see the bottom fall out of this corn market potentially in March of 2012. That was the concern. They were talking a 14 billion bushel corn crop in 2012. So I'm an ag lender. I'm in Grinnell. We're a very ag town. It's a farm community. And now I'm going to go listen to Dr. Taylor. I'm going to pick up some insights. I'm going to take back to my customers, and I'm going to be the best ag lender at the bank. I was excited. So I go in, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. Dr. Taylor gets up, and he's got charts and graphs, and he's counted tree rings from like the rainforest, so he can pinpoint when some years got more moisture than other. He's got more squiggly line charts than Mike had, going all the way back to the Civil War on moisture levels and temperatures and all of this sort of stuff. And Elwyn runs through it all. And I knew more about climate by the time he was getting to the end than I thought it was ever possible to learn. And Elwyn's starting to wrap up. And I'm waiting for him to come out and say, we're going to get a lot of rain and grow a lot of corn, or we're not. And Elwyn gets into his wrap up and he puts up his final slides. And Elwyn says, in the growing season of 2012, crop condition is going to come down to two things. If an El Nino develops off the coast of South America, then we'll have adequate moisture in the growing season of 2012. However, if a La Nina situation develops off the coast of South America, then we will not have adequate moisture in the growing season of 2012. On the other hand, if things stay as they are with a neutral stance, the El Nino La Nina situation off the coast of South America, it's going to be very difficult to predict the moisture level throughout the growing season of 2012. And then Elwyn Taylor sat down. And that was the end of that. And I was amazed at how brilliant Elwyn Taylor is. Elwyn Taylor comes to this convention every single year. Next year, he's going to be standing up there on the stage, and you know what nobody can say about Elwyn Taylor? No one can say he was wrong. Elwyn gave 3 scenarios for what's going to happen in the growing season of 2012. Whatever happened, he was covered. We had a drought. By God, Elwyn called that back in March. That's how I feel a lot of times when it comes to market forecasting. We're playing on a lot of similar factors. There's a million different things that come into play. We're dealing with a global grain market. We're dealing with a global meat market. Everything we do is global in agriculture. And everything we do can be affected by a drought in China, by a freeze in South America, by a growing middle class in Kazakhstan. All those things are going to change the prices we've got. So as we get into a short-term market outlook, keep that in mind. When we get to the end and we summarize our short-term market outlook, I can leave you with one promise. One of 3 things is going to happen to grain prices throughout the fall of 2013. But I won't spoil the ending for you.